First on the agenda, we're going to call the meeting to order. And if I could have a motion to open the meeting, please.
Motion to
So moved.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. On the public comment, I'm going to bypass that. There is nobody in the audience to speak, so I'll just bypass that. And if anything happens at the end, I'll make a decision then. But I really don't think we're going to have any, but you never know. So the first on the agenda is to review and approve the January 24th meeting minutes. So if I could have a approval to start that, that'd be great.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Second. Is there any comment on the minutes or discussion?
I have to abstain because I couldn't read them.
Yeah, okay, I have to abstain because I wasn't here. So all in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay, abstain. Favor, okay, thank you. Now we will have Cindy, a director's report. Cindy Currier.
So we sent out a newsletter the beginning of February. We're on an every other month cycle. The reason why it's on this sort of off month cycle, just so you guys know, is that we had started with a new printer. And we started, instead of doing like a January, February, March, April, we're on a December, January, February, March. So it's a little bit kind of odd, but the newsletter is getting a lot of, we're getting good feedback about it. So I think people are happy with it. So we did a game night on February 22nd. We had 12 people attend, which was a little bit of an uptick from the previous game night the month before. This time we ordered Chinese food, had drinks, dessert. 3 tables were playing different games. Everyone seemed to really enjoy it, and they asked us if we could do it twice a month, so we're looking into that. Grab and go this month, we had 30 meals. We included a little box of chocolates as an extra gift, and the students from the AOK group made valentines to go inside each meal, so everyone got a handmade valentine. Yoga and stretch and strength classes are both drawing new people. I think Chris can probably speak to that. You're starting to see a little bit of an uptick?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you've got some of your snowbirds going to Florida,
Yep.
but some new people are showing
Coming
up
in,
in
yeah.
person.
Okay, so same thing with stretch and strength. We're seeing some new names, some regulars. I think you have regulars
Yep.
too, so it's kind of nice to see some new people coming into that. We did a nutrition program with Age Span, which was formerly Elder Services, the Merrimack Valley and North Shore. They've sort of rebranded themselves to Age Span. So we had one of their dietitians come, and she presented a program on eating the rainbow and getting more fruits and vegetables into your diet and which things are good and bad. So that was good. We had a representative from the Best of Times travel company come to talk about more trips. We have done one, we're doing another one in March. This travel company provides, it's sort of a soup to nuts thing. They provide coach bus transportation, you go to a show, you have lunch, and then they bring you back. So we're working with them. This is the second trip that we're doing. COVID is sort of still wreaking havoc on things. They had to consolidate their program. They were going to have 2 shows, now they're only having 1 show because they didn't have enough people for both shows, and then they consolidated down to 1 and they had too many people, so we didn't have as many tickets as we thought we would have, but it's sort of a trial and error. We're trying to figure that out. We're also looking at, Kathy and I are looking at what trips we can do locally using our van, and finding other ways to do things too to get people out. So I think people are starting to be more adventurous and want to get out and do things. So it's good, but this was a little hiccup for us with not having enough tickets for this one. Bingo is well attended twice a month. We sort of have a core group of folks that come, but we did last month go to Quaker Hill, one of the housings in Byfield, and we did bingo there, and that actually drew a couple more people. So we're going to do that once a month where we'll go to them. We've worked with Evelyn Noyes over at the Byfield housing. to ask her if we can kind of branch out and come to her people. And she's very open to that, so we're working with her on that. Our watercolor class was canceled this past month. The instructor had an emergency, but we are scheduled for March 22nd for the next class. That's always well attended. And we had to reschedule our Audubon Society program that we had booked in February. So we're rescheduling that for the spring, so that will be in the next newsletter, hopefully. So upcoming programs, our drawing class is going to resume in April. The instructor had taken a break because COVID numbers were going up. She was a little hesitant. She has, I think we have 8 people in that class, so she's got a good group, and they're very excited to attend that. They'll decide. It was a 4-session class. They are going to decide if they want to continue, and then we can talk to her. If we have more people who are interested, maybe we do another class. We'll see what she says. That group is also interested in doing a trip to an art museum, so we're looking into that. We have a St. Patrick's Day luncheon on St. Patrick's Day at Peta Hall at 12 o'clock. That's corned beef and cabbage. We're having that catered. Again, the AOK students will be there to serve meals. We're going to have some live Irish folk music. The van is already scheduled. I know we have, I want to say 10 or 12 folks from the housings that need rides, so we've already got that set up.
Cindy, can I just interrupt for a
Of
second?
course.
In the newsletter, I noticed, just be careful for next time,
Yes.
in the body of the,
One of our seniors told me. So
Yeah,
I
just in
had
case- just in case there's any
I appreciate it. I had and if you see things like that, please let me know if you see errors in the newsletter. So I had the holiday luncheon separated on a different page. So I just was like, okay, we'll just put the St. Patrick's Day luncheon in here in this part of the newsletter. And I did the top part, no problem, and then I left the date from the December.
Okay.
So the day it went out, I got a phone call, and this lovely woman called to tell me, and she said, "Is it okay that I tell you these things?" I said, "Please tell me these things. I need to know." So it will make me that much more fastidious next time. But thank you for
are they
mentioning it.
having an alternative to corned beef and cabbage?
No, we're not. We're just doing the corned beef and cabbage. And I know that not everybody likes that.
Can I bring my own lunch?
Yeah, you can. If you want, I'd still love to have you come. You know, if you.
I'll send my husband, he likes it.
There you go. So our next game night is scheduled for Tuesday, March 15th. I believe we're going to do Mexican food this time. The girls that came were pretty interested in, we're trying to do different things, so not pizza and salad every time. So we're trying to do kind of different fun things. So we decided Mexican from Metzi's. So if you're free on the 15th, I'd like to come play some games. It'll be fun. Shopping is still offered weekly. Still limited numbers, but now, I mean, I think you've all heard that the mask mandates are going away and, you know, numbers are going down. So hopefully that's going to draw more people out. This kind of icy cold weather also keeps people away. But hopefully as the weather starts to get better, those numbers will increase. But we are, every Tuesday is grocery shopping at a local market basket. Depending on who's on the bus, they'll decide if they want to go to Newburyport or Rowley, or if they want to go shop. Whatever they want to do, we'll do what they want to do. Thursdays has generally been like the dollar store or different places up in Seabrook. At Seabrook Commons, there's a plethora of stores up there, so they kind of decide where they want to go. But Thursdays we're going to probably be looking at, like I was saying, the other trips that we want to do. So it might be less shopping and more, you know, fun trips as the weather gets better. We were thinking of things like a tour of Spencer Pierce Farm, things that are local. So if you guys can think of something or you have an idea, please let me know because we'd love to. Obviously,
A trip to the Parker River National Wildlife Refuge.
that's a good one.
There's the Hellcat Trail that's pretty easy to walk, and there's parking right there.
Is there a place to, like if we packed a picnic lunch, is there a place to sit?
They have benches here and there, but they don't really have
Okay.
picnic tables. So,
I'm a little nervous with picnic tables too. You know, asking someone to get their leg over on a picnic bench can be a little tricky too. So some folks it's not a problem, but others it is. So we'll figure out something. Even if we come back to our place and have a lunch for people, that's fine. But yeah, that's a great one. So if you
or
think about
maybe we
things.
could use Pitt Up to do the lunch.
That's a great idea.
It's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Or we can go to Joyce's house.
I was thinking of that.
Or my house, I have a nice big deck.
Some tables
I have quite
outside.
a few, but we'd have to split up.
We are working on more evening programs. One that Kathy is in process with now is, so we did the scam program with the Newburyport Bank and the police department. We are working with the bank again on a program about important documents to have, wills, trusts, power of attorney, healthcare proxy, things like that. And they are coordinating with an attorney's office. I believe the attorney's from Danvers. So they are working on a date that will work. We did request a Tuesday evening. Again, we're trying to draw people, younger crowd of folks. If this is successful, we'll certainly look at doing it during the day as well. But we're trying to, the game night is great and it's very successful, but we want to offer a bunch of different things. So that's one thing we're looking at right now. Our take-home activity kits are still very popular. And even though COVID things are kind of going away, that's still people that we're touching that may not necessarily come into us, and we want to keep that contact. So we are coming up with the take-home activity kits. The next one will be spring-related, gardening, birds, that kind of a thing. So we're working on those. And our next newsletter is scheduled for April, May, so it'll go out at the end of March, early April to get.
I have a question about the newsletter. When it came in my email, when I went to open it, it was something to do with Newburyport Bank.
Was it?
So it wasn't
There was a link,
attached,
right?
It was a link.
It's a link to, that brings you to the site for this company that does our, and Newburyport Bank actually pays for advertising. They don't advertise in our paper newsletter. They wanted to advertise on the website.
Okay.
So that's why I did a link this time.
Okay, because it was different. 'Cause
Yeah,
usually
normally I just do the attachment.
Usually I save it to my computer and I couldn't save it.
Oh, you can't? You can't download it in the
I
top?
don't know, maybe it downloaded and I couldn't find it. I don't know. I'm not
Okay.
the best technology person.
Because I'm pretty sure on the top right-hand corner, there's a button that you can download.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted to make sure, I mean, they're paying for advertising,
Yeah,
so.
I just noticed it was different the way it came, so I was
Yeah.
wondering if I was doing something
Nope,
wrong.
you're not doing anything wrong.
Okay.
No. That's what I
Thank you. That was great, Cindy.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Of course.
How did we leave the approval of the minutes? There were three said yes and three abstained? Is that correct?
Yes, but let me see. Abstained,
Susan
abstained, yes,
Okay, so the quorum for 6 is 4.
okay,
So that means we can't approve the minutes.
all right. So that means we can't file them?
We have to table them until next time.
Next time, we'll have to table until next meeting.
Okay.
Unless we have them.
I have them on this computer somewhere. Can I find them?
So we open them and Susan, oh, you voted,
She abstained.
she abstained, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't open the file.
Yeah.
It said I didn't have access.
We could put them on the minutes again on next month's agenda, and perhaps, Damon, you could send them out in a different format.
Happy to do that.
They'll be readable for all, and as long as everybody's here, we'll get them approved next month.
I think that's fine.
Okay.
I'll be sending that.
So,
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that
that's
to
from
our
our friend
attention.
Do we need to have a motion to table it or to the next meeting?
Why don't
I'm
we
not sure.
just do that, to be sure?
Okay.
Then I would make a motion to table the approval of the minutes in the next.
What fund?
Yeah.
meeting.
Approved or?
I have them right here if you want to, do you want to quickly read through them?
I can.
It's up to you what you want to do.
Hello?
They're very short. It
Yeah.
was
Short and sweet?
short and sweet.
Can we short and sweet? You want me to come over there?
Nope, I can come to you. This was the January 24th.
Yes.
Yes. Try to get them out quickly and it doesn't always help.
I know, that was quickly when I saw them, but now that I remember it, I couldn't open them either, because I'm not techie, and I just couldn't get through it somehow, so.
Fine to me. So you want to take
Okay.
another vote? Or
Yes.
Yes.
change my abstain to?
Yes, we'll take another
So I'll make
vote.
a motion to take another vote for the approval of the minutes.
Second.
24th.
And I'll do a roll call on this one. Chuck?
This is for the minutes?
Yes.
I have to abstain, or is that
Right.
something?
Yes.
Abstain.
Approved.
Approved.
The minutes are approved.
Okay.
Thank you all. Okay, now we're going to get into the other business. First, I'm going to ask Bill to talk about something that is in process, and we want to finish it up, and he'll go over that. And then I'll see if anybody else has anything that they would like to bring to the table.
Okay, real quickly, right after Christmas, I sent out 2 packages, one in Word, Microsoft Word, and one in Excel. One was the proposed operating guidelines of how the board should operate, and the other one was a process for voting in May and June. We'll essentially be voting for positions on the board of directors. So Susan did a great job. I gave her the red pen as promised because of all the corrections she made. And she picked up another one today with Cindy.
He's good on his word. If he says you're gonna get the red pen, you got it.
Memory like an elephant sometimes. So if you haven't seen them or looked at them, I know I got comments from Damon and from Cindy and from Susan, so.
And from me,
And exactly, thank you, Joyce.
you're welcome.
My memory's not that good. So take a look at it, and the operating guidelines, I think, is like a living document. As you think of ways that we can improve the way we conduct the meeting, we can add to it, okay? It's certainly not a bylaw, it can't be a bylaw, it's just a guideline. And the voting process as well. We tried to formalize it because we described it as kind of loosey-goosey last time we did it. It's sort of just verbal. This kind of documents things, and it sets up a scenario where if someone gets nominated and the vote says they got the position, and for whatever reason they choose to decline, then we already know who the next person in line vote-wise would be to take the position. So please take a look at it, and I won't send it out again unless Susan has seen it. Okay?
It's going to be on the agenda for the next meeting. So if somebody, I know this copy was handed out, I believe, at the last meeting.
I think it was sent. I was looking for it this morning, but what I'll do is I'll resend it to everybody.
Oh, good,
Both of
good.
them, okay? So,
With the redlining edits?
no.
No edits included?
The edits are included.
Okay.
The edits are
After
all
the
done.
edit, nothing will be highlighted in red unless Susan finds I made a mistake again.
Okay.
My wife is a teacher, so I'm used to reading.
I was never a teacher, but I was a newsletter editor, so.
That's where it came from.
Well, I appreciate what you did.
Yes. I was wondering, wow, where did all this knowledge
I
come
know,
from?
my past life stuff.
Yeah. All right, so moving on, I want to ask under other business if anybody has any comments on anything that they believe we should have on the agenda or anything they want to bring to our attention. Go ahead.
If you were to go to the Council on Aging page on the Town of Newbury website,
Yeah,
on the left-hand column, there are different things you can tab on. If you click on the Friends of the Newbury Council on Aging,
yeah.
it used to have a mission statement and that's all it had. Now it has the entire web page that they just recently established and released. Matt Cooper loaded it so it automatically goes to that. And the page is pretty comprehensive. It even has a tab on there for donations, how to donate, how to join, how to do this, how to do that. There's a little block in there to respond to them or write to them. And I tested it, and Deb said, I got your message. So that was huge. So it's a good gateway for people who want to learn about the Friends to get to how they want to advertise themselves, which is important to us.
And maybe at this point in time, where their meeting isn't televised or public, we should mention that they're looking for new members. And what they really need are people that could help with grant writing. Anything anybody else want to add to that? But I know that that would be a big, they all work. They have like full-time jobs, except one is retired. So they need people that have experience in grant writing so that they can raise additional funds for the council. Because that is where we get our programming money from, is through their donations. So even if you know of somebody that might be interested, they meet once a month. It's on the, usually the last Tuesday of the month. And it would be a great thing if you know of somebody to let them be aware of it. They could even ask to listen in on one of their meetings, and then they would be sent a link so they could see what it's all about. And Cindy and I are at the meeting every month. Her as the director and myself as the chair of the board of directors. So I'm hoping there's somebody out there that would consider this so they can raise more money for the council.
And I would say it's not just grant writing, it's any kind of fundraising. that they
Yes,
do.
right.
So if people have experience in fundraising or just want to be part of a community group that helps, they are very open to having new members.
And especially now where Cindy is running so many programs, they have to be paid for. And we have to keep the money flowing in to the friends so Cindy can approach them when she needs money for the month for her programs. You want to add anything else, Cindy?
I think that's good.
Okay, thank you.
On that note, are we going to meet with the Friends a little bit more frequently than the once a year?
I'm sure they would like that, and we mentioned that before, so we'll bring that up at a
They
meeting.
do have an annual meeting in June, so maybe before that meeting. So I have a meeting set up the end of March,
It's the last Tuesday in March.
so we can address it then and ask if we could, maybe in April or May, have another joint meeting, and then they'll do their annual one in June.
So back to you, Chuck. I bypassed you. Did you have anything you wanted to
Just
bring?
curious about downstairs.
Okay. I'll let Cindy answer that because she's more involved with the town on that.
Sure, so Tracy's been working with RJ Kelly, who owns the property. There was some things that had to go back and forth in terms of, there's always one little nitpicky thing that needs to be on the architecture paperwork that needs to get approval from the town, so there was some back and forth with that. But I believe everything is all set. She was going to be signing the lease any day now, and then they will start the construction process. So I'm hoping that they'll stick to the 8 weeks that they gave us for construction. I'm anticipating sometime the end of April, early May that we get to move in, but that's to be determined.
Okay.
But things are moving forward, and we're very anxious to get into our new space and excited about it, so.
Thank you.
Thank you both. David?
That was the question I was gonna ask, actually.
Sue, do you have
Sorry about that.
anything that you?
No, that was my question too.
Okay.
Because I noticed when I walked in, I was like, doesn't look like
What's
anything's
going on
happening
down
over
there?
Yeah, I know. First thing I drive up, I always look.
Me too.
And then I see people park where we should be parking. So, Chris, how about you?
Probably two questions. One is a follow-on to that because I've been asked by the folks who are taking yoga whether, again, a lot of the programming will also move to this location. So I've kind of said, yes, I believe that will be the case, but again, not.
If you
Sure, that's
guys
the right
really
answer.
like the field house, especially, remember we had the canopies out
Yes.
over the summer? I would really love to be able to continue, and that's such a beautiful spot. Putting canopies outside on Kent Way
Oh, absolutely.
is
Yeah.
not gonna work.
Parking lot.
Whereas at Mantor Field or Central Street, it's such a beautiful location. So if you guys really wanted to continue that, I just need to go back to the recreation department to request the time, that's all. And I'm on that, I go to those meetings every month, so that's not a problem for me I believe we're through April anyways, but I can always just get approval to use that location for that town zone.
Don't forget, we have 7 acres right next door, that's ours, to do with as we want, recreation.
What do you mean?
It's all part of the McKay field that we bought when we bought put the new library up, we had to move the baseball field.
Okay,
The 7 acres came with it. So there's quite a bit of land
Behind
right
you.
there to play with. And it just, there was never enough money to develop it into another field. It was always,
would you
Yeah.
access that through the, like, so you'd park at the library? Like, where would you park?
access is tough right now, it's grown in.
Okay.
So it needs to be, Warren Mantle was the last one to put a road in there. But the access is off of Kent Way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, there's a little road that goes into a log cabin and it's off of that road right there.
All right, I can look
Yep.
into that, but for the time
Sure.
being, if you guys are comfortable there,
Yep.
you just let me know what you prefer. We can, once everything is all set, you can come and look and see if that's what you wanna do.
Yep.
But if you prefer to stay at Central Street, that's.
Just throwing it out there.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you. And then my second question was more, again, I'm sounding like a broken record, but I've also spoken to some of the folks who come about, again, the newsletter is effective, but I still think that we need to get
The Facebook.
the Facebook
Yeah,
thing.
I'm working
And that
on
was actually the one I said, well, of all the social media,
That's the
again,
one.
informal poll, but all social media, which one do you use? And that was the one that came up the most frequently.
And I would say on the survey that was sent out a while ago,
Right.
that came back, that was the major social media
Exactly.
use. Yeah.
Well, it makes
Okay.
also when we need to share info
Yes,
a lot easier
absolutely.
to do.
So I was actually working with Matt on that because I can't access that page. I don't have the password, so I'm working with him on getting the right email address that's connected to that page. So we're gonna break in there, so to speak, and be updating that page. So, yes, that is on the agenda.
What's the page? What's on the
There
page?
was a Facebook page created for the Council of Aging, but it hasn't been active since 2015, so whoever was maintaining it. So it uses the COA email address and things like that, but without somebody authenticating
Maintaining
it,
it,
can't
no.
get in to
Oh,
utilize it.
yeah.
So I know I can't, it has to be somebody from the town. The other option is that you can create a new one and then you contact Facebook, you authorize yours, and they'll merge the two.
Okay.
Well, Cindy and I had a talk on this with Matt. What would you say, maybe a month ago, Cindy?
Yeah, he thought it was better for us to just go with the town Facebook page. But I am open to, if people are going to look at it and utilize it, because it's time consuming to,
Right.
maintain that and keep it up to date. It's one thing for me to send things to him and say, hey, can you post this on the town Facebook page? But for me to maintain a whole Facebook, I'm not a big social media person, so
Right.
it's not easy for me. It's a learning experience, so I'm happy to do that. It's just that I need him to help me get in there.
So that's how, we were talking about having our own Facebook page, and the three of us had a meeting here, and Matt recommended we stay with the town's Facebook. And that he would put in what Cindy asked him to
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah, but I also think having our own page makes me a little bit more responsible to that. Because I always think after the fact, I should have put that on Facebook. I should,
Yeah.
Whereas if it's my responsibility to post to it, I'll be more apt to stay on current with that.
Okay,
So I'm open to it.
yeah, oh, that's great. Okay, so,
A last question
yes,
for me. Cindy,
thank you, Chris, for your input.
are we up to snuff on training on open meeting law?
I'm glad you said that,
and,
because I have a list.
Okay.
So there are several people who still need to do, there was an email that went out, I think I had forwarded an email from Leslie Haley, town clerk, on the open meeting law and conflict of interest. So there are 2 forms that need to be signed, and then there's an actual online training about the
I did
conflict
that
of
in
interest.
November, so do I have to do it again?
I will ask her, because she wasn't on your list, so you completed all that in November,
I did that before we started, before I joined the
the board.
board.
Alright, so I will ask her, because her, when I ask her specific names, she can go in and look and make sure, so I'll get back to you and let you know, but if you did it in November, then you should be
I
fine.
think there's a nominal cost to it, it's like $15 or something to register.
No, you
No.
shouldn't have had to do
Really?
that.
I had to pay. I think I went through there
That's
was
too bad.
definitely something I had to register for, and it was like $15 or something like that.
Alright, let me look into
I
that.
can't remember, I mean, it was definitely like November.
Because this shouldn't cost you anything, it's just a link to go into the.
I got all the emails, but
Yes.
I've been away.
No, that's fine.
So,
So, number 1 and number 3, I believe the link, you're just gonna, even if you wanted to come to the council on aging, I can print them out for you, it's just 2 forms, just stating that you received that information, and then the second one is the actual link to the training. And then you print out the, there's a certificate at the end that I need, if you can just print it out when you're done.
I probably have that, so I'll just send it to you.
Okay. Alright. Thank you.
And you need them or Leslie needs them?
Leslie needs them, if you wanna get them to me, I can get them to her, but if you wanna come here and give it to Leslie, that's fine. You should be all set though.
Yeah, I was fortunate.
You actually took the training, but you still need the 2 forms.
Okay, I'll go downstairs and
Okay,
sign them.
thank you.
All right. Well, the next meeting, looking at the calendar, the third Monday in March is the 21st. And hopefully it's not a holiday. Doesn't sound
No.
familiar. So let's put that down for March 21st. And now it's time to adjourn. So if I could have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So move.
Second.
And a yay vote will do. Right, permission to
Aye.
adjourn. All right, thank you.
thanks.